Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sava Britya Yare Yaiche Nachaya Se Taiche Kare Nritya. There is one Supreme Lord. He is the proprietor of everything. However, He makes us dance. We dance accordingly. So we dance according to His tunes. So now, here in this part of the Bhagavatam, we are seeing about the fundamental principles of material nature. The Supreme Lord has expanded into many Eko Bahushyam, into His Swamshas, into Vibhinnamsha, various kinds of expansions. Now, these Vibhinnamshas, we living entity, we come under the category of Vibhinnamsha, separated parts. When they want to enjoy independent of the Supreme Lord, the Lord has made this elaborate arrangement. As it is said, Prabhavaha, the Lord, He is the origin of everything. It may be the spiritual world or the material world. He is the origin of the Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And there that the Sankarshana, he is the origin of all the Purushavataras who are engaged in creation, maintenance and destruction of this cosmic manifestation. And Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the origin even of that Sankarshana. So here in the first verse we see Sahasra Shirasam Sakshat Yam Anantam Prachakshate Sankarshanakyam Purusham Bhutendriya Manomayam Bhuta Indriya Manaha. The material elements, Panchabhuta, Indriya, the senses, and Manaha, Manomayam, the mind. So for all of them, Sankarshana is the origin. And we know Krishna is the origin of Sankarshana also. So he is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karana. In the next verse, today's verse, we see Kartritvam, Karanatvam, Karyatvam. In the earlier verses, we saw how from the Mahat Tattva, the material ego springs up. So from this material ego, gradually, now we are seeing the false ego manifesting in various forms. The first three forms of the manifestation of false ego or ahankara is kartrutvam, karanatvam, karyatvam. So what is this kartrutvam? The sense of doership. I am the doer. See, this is one ahankara. Then karanatvam. Karanatva means, karana means referring to the instruments meant for creation. Generally here it is referring to the organs, the senses, various senses which creates many things. So this karanatvam referring to the senses. One portion is jnanendriya, another is karmendriya. Knowledge acquiring senses and action related senses. Karanatvam cha. And then karyatvam, the effect of that. The combination of the doer and the senses gives rise to karyatvam, or the effect. Specifically here the effect refers to, in the purport Srila Prabhupada mentions, it is the various material objects meant for sense gratification that is being produced. There is the doer, there are the instruments meant for creation, and then as an effect of that, various objects meant for sense gratification are created. So we can see how the entire cosmic manifestation, especially in the modern day, we see people in the name of advancement of civilization. What are we trying to do? Just it is increasing the objects of sense gratification. We have got senses, and senses demand many objects for their gratification. And we go on providing varieties and varieties, and never the senses are satisfied with it. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to increase more and more, more and more, more and more. So this is nothing but the effect of material false ego. Prabhupada mentions in the purport. In the material world, we are producing so many things, and this is called advancement of civilization. But factually, the advancement of civilization is a manifestation of the false ego. By false ego, all material things are produced as objects of enjoyment. One has to cease increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. So what are we supposed to do in the practice of our spiritual life? We are supposed to not increase but decrease the objects required for sense gratification. Especially sense gratification, it expands from the four basic, what we can say, needs or urges of the body, animalistic propensities of ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha samanyametat pashubhir narana. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. See, these activities of eating, say animals, it is very simple. Each and every animal, they have got certain their designated food, what they are supposed to eat, and they'll eat that. There are, we categorize, there are some herbivorous animals, carnivorous animals, and they have got their own specified food which they will eat, and they are satisfied with it. But in a human being, no, he wants varieties. more objects he wants. Maybe we have heard, maybe in our sessions and all, we show how the anatomy of the human being is designed, is more closer to that of a herbivore. We do not have sharp nails to tear away flesh or sharp teeth to kill animals, and sufficient digestive power to digest uncooked food, raw meat. No, we don't have. So what do? We kill animals, we maintain slaughterhouses, use all kinds of our intelligence through technology, science, everything, maintain big slaughterhouses to kill animals in varieties of ways, and then it's processing in the form of cooking and mixing and varieties of things, and somehow we consume it. Likewise for sleeping, the same activity which animals somewhere on top of the trees or under the trees or somewhere with some simple shelter, nicely they take rest. But we human beings, we want elaborate arrangements. That's why we construct huge buildings, houses, apartments, and sophisticated all kinds of locking systems for our protection. In spite of that, it's a fact that many people suffer from lack of sleep. So it's a fact, modern people, we see that. So likewise, if we go on understanding all the activities of the modern civilization, simply go on expanding objects of sense gratification, it is nothing but an expansion of the material false ego, ahankara. Whatever we are doing in the name of advancement of civilization is nothing but expansion of this false. In the conversation which we read today, Srila Prabhupada quotes this: Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Kevala Vishera Bhanda, Amrita Baliya Yeva Khaya, Nana Yoni Sada Fire, Kadarya Bhakshana Kare, Tara Janma Adha Pate Yaya. See, this is again same thing. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda means fruitive activities. What is fruitive activity? I work hard, I earn, I will purchase the objects for my sense gratification, I will indulge in it, and I shall derive happiness through these activities. So this is Karma Kanda. This is compared to Vishera Bhanda, pot of poison. If at all we fall into this pot, Amrita Baliya Yeva Khaya. In ignorance, people are drinking this poison thinking that it is Amrita, it is nectar, but actually it is poison. How it is poison? Because all karmic activities, fruitive activities, what a person involves, there will be reaction for that. Because we are not the proprietors of this material world. The Supreme Lord, He is the proprietor. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrada kasya sviddhanam. For every living entity, there is some specific allotment done. If at all, especially human beings, we put our hand for other living entities' allotment, what will happen? Reaction will be there. Reaction will come in varieties of ways. That's why a lot of sufferings will be there. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika kleshas will be there. So that is Vishera Bhanda. We have to suffer. If we drink poison, what will happen? Suffering will be there. Likewise, if we indulge in all of these Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda activities, thinking that it is nectar, but actually it is poison. And the reaction will be Nana Yoni Sadafire. Life after life, different forms of bodies we have to keep taking. And Tara Janma Adah Pateyaya. He'll go on degrading. So, this process or this way of working for a human being is not recommended. In the name of material advancement, going on increasing objects of sense gratification is not recommended. On the other hand, we should reduce, make our life simple. If at all we are going in this direction, means it is just nothing but increasing the false ego, increasing the ahankara. Few more points in the lecture of the same verse, Srila Prabhupada, he explains about the next three expansions of Shanta, Ghora and Vimudhatvam. Kartritvam, Karanatvam cha Karyatam cheti lakshanam. Shanta, Ghora, Vimudhatvam iti vasyat ahankrite. What is this Shanta, Ghora and Vimudha? Shanta means, we have heard, it is serene, Ghora, active, and Vimudha, foolish. How this transformation takes place? When the ahankara, false ego, comes in touch with sattva guna, serenity remains. When it comes in touch with mode of passion, rajoguna, there is ghora activities. And when it comes in touch with tamoguna, vimudhatvam, foolish activities. So let us see what are these Shanta, Ghora and Vimudha activities. This Prabhupada quotes in the lecture recorded in Bombay. So this false ego and the material world, I am this body, they are also divided into three: Shanta, Ghora and Vimudhatvam. According to the modes of material nature, Shanta means sober, serene. Persons who are in the mode of goodness, for them, this material world is manifest in the matter of its constituency. And those who are in the modes of goodness, they can see things as they are. So in the earlier verses also we have sufficiently heard about this. Goodness means knowing things clearly, swachhatvam, shantatvam, avikaritvam. See, they're all symptoms of goodness. At this point, a living entity, he understands this material world in the matter of its constituency. He sees things as they are. Who am I? Who are others? What's there in this world? Everything he knows clearly. Now I have got this kind of a body. Maybe a male body or a female body or an animal body. Why have I got this? Because of my past karma. Another person, why he has got that kind of a body? He's a rich man, I am very poor. Why this differentiation is there? He understands, yes, maybe in his past he has performed some pious deeds, punya karma, because of that such a body he has got. But all of these are temporary. Ultimately, it may be myself, the other person, animals, reptiles, insects, everyone. We are all living entities, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Now we have become temporarily engaged through these bodies. And what is the entire cosmic manifestation meant for? Yes, to satisfy the unconstitutional desire of the living entities. That's why the Supreme Lord, out of His causeless mercy, He has created all these things. So all these, this is how, in the matter of its constituency, looking things very clearly, a person in Sattva Guna, he understands. Then, and the Ghora, those who are in the modes of passion, they are unnecessarily going on, making plan and full of activities without any aim of life. That is Ghora, mode of passion, full of activities, morning till night, busy with varieties of things, For what purpose? Some petty ulterior purpose. It may be some earning money. Earning money means for getting more and more objects of sense gratification. They are thinking that is happiness. Amrita balya eva khaya. Thinking that is happiness, that will give me happiness. But actually they are eating or drinking poison only. This is ghora activities. Making plans, unnecessarily going on, full of activities without any aim of life, just working like donkeys. This is ghora activities. And then moodhatvam, that is like animal, do not know what is the aim of life, what for he is working, what is the value of life, nothing of this sort. Just like an animal, just interested in the activities of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. This is moodhatvam. So, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they are controlling by different senses and the sense controller, different demigods. It's a very complicated situation. He is referring to, we saw here how there are various demigods who are controlling the various senses of the body, and the combination of these demigods, various senses, all of these things, objects are produced. The living entity goes on trying to accumulate or increase the objects of sense gratification. He indulges in that, and for that, as a resultant karma he accrues. It's a complicated situation. But we can get out of it by controlling the senses. So by controlling the senses we can get out, Prabhupada says, and immediately he says, that is also very difficult. So we can say orally, yes, control the senses. But do you think it is so easy? That is also difficult. At the present moment, especially in the Kali Yuga, that is also very difficult. The easiest way, as suggested by the Shastras and great personality, is Bhaja Vasudevam. Bhaja Vasudevam. Prabhupada quotes this beautiful verse from the 4th canto of Bhagavatam. Yat pada pankaja palasha vilasa bhaktya udgratayanti santaha tadvan nariktamatayo yatayopi ruddha sroto ganastamaranam bhaja vasudevam. It's only by worshipping Vasudeva or Lord Krishna we can come out of all of these complex situations, complicated situations. Bhaja Vasudevam. And also, by this Bhaja Vasudevam or worshipping the Supreme Lord, as it is said, Jnana and Vairagya, automatically it comes. That is said in the Bhagavatam. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayadahaitukam. If a living entity performs Bhakti Yoga, what will happen? The result is Jnana and Vairagya will automatically appear. So through that Jnana, so all of these things will become clear. The creation, the manifestation, the sense organs, the body, the objects around everywhere, what is it meant for, what is my share in it, what is the goal of life, all this jnana will be revealed. And then vairagya is also required. Just jnana is insufficient. I may be knowing I am not supposed to do this, sense gratification is not good, I need to control my senses. Just this knowledge, is it sufficient? No. Vairagya, detachment is required. For that, bhakti. So, just like today's conversation also, same thing was covered. Jnana is dependent on bhakti. But bhakti, is it dependent on jnana? No. Prabhupada makes it clear. Jnana is dependent on bhakti, but bhakti is independent. It is not dependent on jnana. If bhakti is there, if a living entity engages himself in devotional service, jnana and vairagya are byproducts of that. Automatically he will get it. He need not separately endeavor for that. Janayati ashu vairagyam jnanam cha yadahaitukam. One cannot understand what is the cause of Vasudeva Bhakta to become so much renounced. A devotee of the Supreme Lord, naturally he becomes renounced. A devotee is never attached to things in this material world. This is mine, this is his, so much is mine, that ownership, whatever. No, he is not very much inclined towards that. He becomes renounced. Just like in India, these young men from America and Europe, they are surprised how they have become so much aloof from material activities. It is surprising. It is not surprising because Bhaja Vasudevam, they have taken to the shelter of Vasudeva. So whoever takes the shelter of Vasudeva, performs devotional service, Jnana will be there, Vairagya will be there. If at all we do not have Vairagya, detachment, the required detachment means what? Sufficient devotional practices we have not done. Sufficiently we are not involving ourselves in Bhaja Vasudevam. If you do also, you shall become. But we are not inclined. In India, oh, Vasudeva, we know everything about Vasudeva. Hare Krishna, oh, this is what you can teach. We know everything. This is the Indian disease, because familiarity breeds contempt. Because Indians are familiar with the name Vasudeva, with the name of Hare Krishna, they think, just like in Europe and American cities, these boys and girls, they go for Sankirtana. And the Indian people, they say, oh, we know everything about it. We have come how to learn. We have come here to learn how to eat meat, how to drink wine. You see, this is the condition. Bhaja Vasudevam. This is not very much appealing, but this is the only way to become out of entanglement. Otherwise, the Shanta Ghora Vimudhatvam iti va syat ahankrite. We shall always remain in this false ego that I am this body, I am this material world, no information of the spiritual world. So giving the example of people in America, England, everywhere, when the devotees go there for Sankirtana, especially Indians there, oh, we know everything about this. So this is the attitude, familiarity. They are not ready to accept. Okay, why have you gone there? To learn to eat meat, to learn to drink wine, and involving all kinds of ghora activities, materialistic civilization, technology we have come here to learn. So this is how it will end up in, if we do not involve ourselves in Bhaja Vasudeva. Another place, Srila Prabhupada says, Maya Sukhaya means the happiness which has no standing, false or illusory. For this purpose, Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan, big adventure, big things they are contemplating, planning. This is called Ghora or Ghora Rupa. Here it is called Ghora, Shanta Ghora. If you go to some industrial place in a factory, iron factory like the Tatas, you will see how they are engaged in ghora activities, horrible activities. After all, you have to eat something, but they have planned a ghora activity, very fearful, ugra karma. See, this is what practically we see in the outside world. After all, what do we want? We want to eat something, some place for shelter. For that, create a huge industry, steel manufacturing, iron manufacturing, constructing dams and big buildings. Ultimately, what do? In another place, Prabhupada says how the same 2 chapatis you will eat. It is not that you are maintaining some big factory, big house. It's not that 100 and 1000 chapatis you can eat. Whatever activities you do, ultimately you will come back home, eat 2 chapatis. For that, why you have to work so hard? You have to sleep somewhere. Some simple, whatever resting place is sufficient. Why build such huge buildings, skyscrapers? All these are ghora activities, fearful or ugra karma. By nature's way, Krishna has given us everything. You can simply work little, you get food grains. Krishna says like that. Krishna never says, you open big, fearful, horrible industries. You will never find in Bhagavad Gita. For your livelihood, Krishna says, very simple method. Annad bhavanti bhutani, parjanyad anna sambhavaha. Anna, you produce anna. Why you are, I mean to say, planning big industries. The oil will come from America through the channel, and the Arabia will refuse to supply oil. There will be power problem. So many things, one after the another. But Krishna does not say that you do all these things. It is ghora. No. So this complication we are seeing in the material world today. So we have to get oil from a different country. They'll stop supplying or they'll increase the prices. So based on that, here industries, transportation, they'll increase the rates, and people, they rebel against the government, and so many complicated situations we are creating. So much of land is available. We can grow our own food, maintain cows, drink sufficient milk, nutritious food, remain healthy, chant Hare Krishna and go back to Godhead. So living this simple lifestyle, what are we doing? Ghora activities. Shanta, Ghora, Vimudhatvam. And nowadays not even Ghora, Vimudha, foolish activities. So foolish. Whatever, not caring for what will happen to my future in the same life, risking our health. People in such whatever horrible ways they are involving in work and spoiling their human form of life. So all of these things are being condemned in the Bhagavatam. See in this portion we are seeing how things are expanding. The origin is, today we saw like the material false ego. How much ever we go on expanding it, so much horrible activities we go on committing. So we have to reduce that, reduce our sense gratification. For that, take up to Bhaja Vasudevam. When we worship the Supreme Lord, automatically Jnana and Vairagya, detachment will be there. Through that, we can make our life successful and become eligible to go back to Godhead. We'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,